Holy sh! I'm conducting a test. Are psychics fake or are they legit? More than 22 years ago, I had a psychic reading over the phone with world-famous psychic medium Sylvia Browne. Today, I'm playing it for the first time just to see how accurate the predictions really were. But first, let's rewind the tape.
Where? Back to the future.
Sylvia Browne was one of the most famous, controversial psychic mediums in modern America. Born in 1936, Sylvia Browne was a self-proclaimed psychic and medium who gained widespread fame through television appearances and best-selling books about the paranormal. Beginning her psychic career in the 1970s, she spent more than 40 years giving readings to the public and claimed to communicate with the spirits and predict future events. Browne became a familiar figure on shows like The Montel Williams Show and Larry King Live. But her career was also surrounded by controversy. Skeptics, including famed magician and paranormal investigator James Randi, repeatedly challenged Sylvia to prove her abilities under scientific conditions, which she never did. Sylvia also fell short on many live television shows that she appeared on, creating many skeptics, regardless of all of her on-point predictions she had for years. Yep, that's me. College student, partying most of the time. You would say that was my major. Not married yet, no kids, not really knowing what the heck I'm going to do with my life. Just mostly worrying about the future. All right, moment of truth. Let's do this. I am definitely nervous to do this. Here we go. Well, this sucks. I can't get it to play. I got it.
Finally! Let's get back to it.
Hello? Yeah, Steve. Hello? See, this is Sylvia. Hey. Talk too fast. Tell me to stop.
Okay.
And I'll tell you everything. Bad, good, warn you, advise you. But I won't control your life, because that's between you and God anyway.
I'm so nervous. I'm just like, okay. You can barely hear me in the back. It's just so funny.
How have you been doing with your back and your neck and your stomach area?
No way.
I thought I had kidney stones before,
Yeah.
and that was really painful.
Yes, it is. But don't eat any dairy.
No
eat any dairy?
way.
Okay.
Dairy is just deadly for acid and in the stomach and for kidney stones.
Okay.
But I would also, along with that, I would start doing some stomach crunches.
Okay. I need to do that.
Yeah. Well, it just keeps the back lubricated, you know, and it keeps the blood going to the kidneys.
That's accurate. That's accurate.
Let that sink in.
That's crazy. I literally just had kidney stones recently again. And I've had back issues recently as well. And I can't eat much dairy. I can't eat cheese, any of that stuff. It just messes up my stomach. It makes me feel terrible. That's wild.
When will I get married? And
Well, that's about 6 years away.
6 years. Okay.
Hold on. When will I get married? Let's do the math. I got married in 2007.
It's simple math.
So she said I would get married in 6 years from this. So that was inaccurate. It was off by 2 years. So them's the rules. So sorry, Sylvia, wherever you are. I mean, it's close.
Okay. Well, can I have kids?
Oh, yeah. You'll have 2 kids.
Okay. I was just worried about that.
Holy shit.
Language.
We had a hard time having our first child and it finally happened naturally, but it took 4 years. And we had 2 children, A+. Wow. All right, let's keep going. So far, so good. Accurate-wise.
Now, what is all this paperwork you're going to be doing? Because it looks like there's a lot of paperwork and books and things.
Books?
Yeah.
I'm on my last year of college. Well, my last semester, hopefully.
Yeah, you are.
I am. And I want to I'm looking to start a business.
Yes.
Here in this small town.
But it also looks like you're going to go up on internet.
On internet?
You're going to put your business up on internet.
If I do, that's going to be different because I'm not very good with the computer.
Yeah, but you're really going to be successful at it.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
This is really crazy. So when this was recorded, I remember this was before I went over to the graphic design area and took all my fine art skills, and I barely knew how to turn on a computer. Never used a Mac before, Apple product. We had a Dell at school, and I hated computers. So when she said it's going to be online, my mind, I was going to open up a restaurant, and I did, but there was no plan, internet, nothing. I barely knew how to use a computer. And that is how I made the majority of my money as an adult, was building websites, apps. At the time, I thought, there's no way. I thought that was a miss, but this is accurate. This is accurate.
Exactly.
Right. My family, we like alcohol quite a bit, and I feel like sometimes that holds me back.
Yeah, but you're not going to become an alcoholic. But one thing you have to do is always keep your blood sugar up so that you don't get caught in that trap.
Okay. But you don't see me becoming
No.
an alcoholic.
No.
Like having to give it up and everything.
No.
Wrong. That is inaccurate. I did quit drinking 2 years ago because it was affecting my life. I was going through the separation. I just couldn't think clearly, and I didn't want to make bad decisions, and I had to be focused on the kids, and I wanted to be present. Also, I couldn't heal with my brain all messed up, and if I was drunk all the time, how am I going to heal? I'm not. I did stop drinking. There was an issue.
But you certainly have a long life.
I do?
Yeah. No, you're just going to get old and pop off, thank God.
Why does it always feel like I'm going to die young?
Because you died young in other lives.
That's what I figured.
But stop and think about this, Steve. Most people didn't live long years ago. Because you did die when you were 17 in a past life. It wasn't in Egypt, it was Samaria. Then you died at 30, then you died at 25. I mean, come on. So no wonder you think you're not going to live long. Because you've had 42 lives, for God's sake.
42.
Yeah.
42 lives.
Yeah.
God. You were a farmer in one life. You were a blacksmith in one life. You were a prince in one life. You were an American Indian chief in one life. You were a high priest in one life in Egypt. God, you had quite a few lives in Egypt.
In Egypt?
You can hear it in my voice. I'm a very nervous youngster. But she sees me having a long life. I can't really, I can't confirm or deny that. That's really interesting that she said all that. I tallied everything up, and it looks like she was 56% accurate, 18% I couldn't validate it, and 26% she was inaccurate. 56% accurate. I think that's pretty good. Thanks for coming on this journey with me, and stay tuned for some other wild ideas that could pop in my head to make a video for you.